On our third wedding anniversary, my wife, who is severely allergic to foreign proteins, lost a game. Her punishment was to choose someone of the opposite sex present and challenge them to the longest kiss. I blushed and stood up, but she turned and walked toward her male best friend, kissing him for a full 10 minutes. Amidst the screams, I pulled out her allergy medication and handed it to her. But her male best friend snatched the medicine and threw it in the trash. With me here, why does she need medicine? He finished speaking and, still not satisfied, licked his lips, still the same taste as back then, hasn't changed a bit. Everyone was stunned, and my wife casually explained to me, "Husband, both Hawaiian and I are allergic to foreign proteins, but we're not allergic to each other. You don't mind, right?" I shook my head, booked a large bedroom on the spot, and calmly watched her. "I've booked the room for you. Go finish things up and come back early to sign the divorce agreement." I took a screenshot of the room number and sent it directly to the group chat. Seeing that I was serious, Chen Yuqian immediately became angry. "Gu Jingzhou, what do you mean? It's just a game. Hawaiian and I just touched lips, and you want to humiliate us like this?" She is severely allergic to foreign proteins, and for 3 years we have been courteous and respectful, without even a single kiss. I couldn't bear for her to take medicine every time for intimacy, and I've been trying my best to be an ascetic. But on our wedding anniversary, she kissed Lu Hawaiian in front of me for 10 minutes. And it wasn't the first time. I suddenly didn't want to endure it anymore. "Since you are each other's medicine, I should fulfill you. Gu Jingzhou, are you even a man? Do you have to be so petty?" Her girlfriends chimed in, trying to smooth things over. "Brother Zhou, getting angry hurts your body. Today is your anniversary with Yuqian. Don't ruin your relationship over such a small matter." After saying that, they didn't forget to secretly give Lu Hawaiian a thumbs up. So this was a small matter. Okay, let's continue the game. Seeing that I wasn't making a fuss, Chen Yuqian's expression softened a lot. After a few rounds of games, the bottle pointed at me. "Brother Zhou, what do you choose?" Before I could answer, the phone rang. "Mr. Gu, your delivery file is here. Send it to 808. After receiving the file, someone urged, "Brother Zhou, play the game first before looking at the file." But I handed the file in my hand to Chen Yuqian. "A surprise for you." Everyone cheered, looking at Lu Hawaiian teasingly. Brother Zhou still knows how to please, otherwise, how could he have won the beauty's heart back then? Chen Yuqian patted Lu Hawaiian's hand reassuringly. Then, she looked at me expectantly and whispered, "Husband, what surprise did you prepare?" I laughed. Priceless treasure. Her face lit up, and she leaned in to kiss me, but habitually pursed her lips as she got close to mine. She couldn't bring herself to kiss me. I smelled the scent of cigarettes on her that wasn't mine, and pushed her away. "Don't force yourself. Go look at the surprise and see if you like it." She quickly glanced at Lu Hawaiian, who looked displeased, then gave me an apologetic look before going to open the document to start the bet. When the 4 bold characters divorce agreement came into view, the apology for betraying me turned into anger. "Gu Jingzhou, are you sick in the head? While I loved her, I would have given her my life. Now that I don't want to love her, it's not up to her anymore." I handed her the pen and said calmly, "Sign it." Chen Yuqian stared at the divorce agreement, her fingertips turning white. "Just because of a game, you want a divorce?" The karaoke room was eerily silent. Lu Hawaiian snatched the agreement and flipped through it, suddenly laughing. "The property division is written very clearly. Director Gu planned this a long time ago, didn't he?" He paused deliberately and looked at Chen Yuqian. "But the marital home you bought for Qianqian still has a mortgage. How will that be divided?" "The mortgage was paid off last month, and it's registered in her name. To marry Chen Yuqian, I ignored my family's objections, started my own business, and gave her the best of everything. I even secretly paid off the millions in mortgage debt before our anniversary, wanting to surprise her and take the opportunity to take her back to my family home." Everyone was stunned. Even Chen Yuqian looked up, incredulous. Lu Hawaiian's expression froze, but he immediately forced a smile. "Don't tell me you borrowed the money to save face? Your debts have nothing to do with Qianqian. Also, if you really get divorced, How will you compensate Qian for these 3 years of her youth? Chen Yuqian looked at me without refuting. Name a number. Her lips trembled, and tears suddenly fell. Tell me, are you just playing a game, or are you serious? Does it make a difference? Her best friend couldn't help but interject. Director Gu, Yuqian was just having too much fun just now. She and Huayan have been like that since college. She abruptly stopped speaking. I nodded. Thanks for the reminder. So, being a best friend since college means you can kiss. Chen Yuqian frantically grabbed my wrist. No, Huayan and I are really just best friends. You know that. I pulled my hand away, pointed to the surveillance camera in the corner of the karaoke room, and then moved my gaze to a certain part of Lu Huayan. Do I need to pull up the recordings to see how you touched lips for these 10 minutes? Lu Huayan smashed a bottle of wine and suddenly burst out. Gu Jingzhou, enough. Qian has been married to you for 3 years, and she can't even get a kiss. What's the difference between that and being a widow? You should really reflect on why she's allergic to you. Not touching her had become my original sin. As for the reason for the allergy, it was already obvious. Chen Yuqian covered his mouth. Huayan, don't cause trouble for me. They hugged each other and smiled at each other. I calmly picked up the pen and handed it to Chen Yuqian. She bit her lip tightly, and tears suddenly welled up in her eyes, which had been smiling like crescents just moments before. What if I don't sign? Then we'll file for divorce. She pushed Lu Huayan away and nestled into my arms like a little bird. Husband, I was wrong. I was just impulsive. I didn't consider your feelings. I pushed her away again. You're not wrong. Once you sign, you'll never have to consider my feelings again. The private room was silent. No one dared to mediate anymore. Lu Huayan continued sarcastically. Sign it. Qian, leave him, and I'll take care of you. Provoked, Chen Yuqian impulsively picked up the pen, but looked at me before making her mark. Gu Jingzhou, once I really sign, this isn't a game. Have you thought this through? I nodded coldly. After signing, she glared at me with red eyes. You'll regret this. I put the agreement away and turned to leave. Someone advised her not to take things too far, but she shouted after me. Don't worry. He loves me so much. How could he divorce me? Bet he'll be kneeling and begging me for forgiveness tonight. Her confidence was met with cheers. The elevator doors slowly closed, cutting off all the noise. I went home and cleared out all my belongings, throwing away what needed to be thrown away, burning what needed to be burned. On the dining table was the special medicine I had specifically requested to be developed, which would allow her and me to be intimate normally. Unfortunately, she rarely took it even once a month, claiming that all medicine was somewhat toxic. Just as I threw the medicine into the trash, my mother called. Ajo, I've already convinced your father to accept Qian. Take her home for dinner when you have time. I was silent for a moment, then said, Mom, I'm getting a divorce. I miss home. Then come home. We'll always be your strong support. My father didn't ask for reasons, nor did he blame me. He just paused and said, I heard that the Lin family girl is still waiting for you. You were the one who broke off the engagement back then, and our two families also have an important collaboration recently. I interrupted him. As long as the Lin family doesn't mind that I'm a divorcee, the marriage alliance can continue. 3 years ago, I came to Rome City as a tourist, and Chen Yuqian took me sightseeing as a tour guide. I fell in love with her at first sight and canceled my childhood engagement with the Lin family for her sake. Are you sure? Yes. My father sighed softly. Since you're coming home, the collaboration can be left to you young people to discuss. As for your marriage arrangement, I'll let you decide. Okay. Hanging up the phone, I noticed a special notification on my social media. It was an update from Chen Yuqian. In a 9-grid photo album, she and Lu Huayan were passionately embracing in the private room, feeding each other alcohol mouth to mouth. The caption read, We are each other's medicine. All her friends were liking it, asking when she would be inviting them to the wedding feast. But my private messages were being bombarded by friends. Everyone was asking me what was going on with me, and Chen Yuqian and even some close brothers who knew a little bit were calling to advise me. Brother Zhou, It's true that Qian is in the wrong in this matter, but why are you bringing up divorce? Her signing the divorce agreement is clearly just a fit of pique. Why are you arguing with your own wife? Quarrels shouldn't last overnight. Otherwise, your wife will be stolen away by someone else, and you'll be waiting for a chase your wife to the funeral pyre situation. You quickly go and coax her and bring her home. In the past, Qian was spoiled and willful and loved to run away from home whenever we quarreled. I've lost count of the number of times I chased after her endlessly, begging for her forgiveness and coaxing her to come home. Back then, it was fun. I was happy to do it, but now I look out the window and say calmly, from now on, I won't be chasing after her anymore. After hanging up the phone, I took a picture of the divorce agreement and posted it on my WeChat moments as a response to the matter. The next day, when I arrived at the company, my assistant greeted me. President Gu, there's a Miss Lin from Jing City looking for you. I was slightly stunned. I quickly called my dad. Did Lin Jiao get the news and chase after me to Rong City? But my dad sent me a project document. Jiao said she wants to meet with you today, even if you don't want a marriage alliance. Don't screw up the cooperation. I knew my dad felt guilty towards the Lin family, so I hung up the phone and quickly asked my assistant to bring her up. Lin Jiao pushed the door open and entered, wearing a sharp and efficient black suit dress. She placed the document on the table and got straight to the point. I don't mind that you're divorced. Once you are officially single again, we can start preparing for the wedding. Until then, we are just normal business partners. Guilt and gratitude intertwined in my heart. Before I could form my words, she tapped the document with her finger. Now, let's talk about the two companies' cooperation. We talked for 2 hours. From a market to overseas expansion, our views were surprisingly aligned. Before we knew it, it was lunchtime, so, as the host, I invited her to eat together. The restaurant was chosen at a famous revolving restaurant. As soon as we sat down, we heard a familiar laugh. Qian and Lu Huaiyan walked in, arm in arm. When she saw me, the smile froze on her face. When her eyes swept over Lin Jiao, her expression suddenly changed. Gu Jingzhou, no wonder you wanted a divorce. So you were having an affair all along. Qian rushed over and raised her hand to slap Lin Jiao. But Lin Jiao grabbed her hand and pushed her away. Miss Chun crying foul is a little too ridiculous. Qian staggered backward, a hint of guilt in her eyes, but after steadying herself, she glared at me. Gu Jingzhou, she hit me. A mistress dared to hit me. She didn't say a word about being as intimate as lovers with Lu Huaiyan just now, and even exchanged a look with Lu Huaiyan before tacitly attacking Lin Jiao. I raised my hand to block them. Qian was furious and picked up the hot water on the table. I dodged and blocked everything. Water dripped down my sleeve. Qian was stunned. Gu Jingzhou, she hit me, but you're protecting her? I'm not blind, and Miss Lin isn't a mistress. Don't be unreasonable with my business partner. My calmness stung her eyes until they were red. She clawed and hit me like a madwoman. I grabbed her wrist. Enough. This was the first time I yelled at her, and she was so shocked that her eyes turned red, feeling extremely wronged. You're scolding me for this woman? Lu Huaiyan stepped forward and pushed me. Let go of Qian. You cheat and beat your wife. What kind of person are you? I let go of my hand and looked at Lin Jiao. I'm sorry. Let's go to another place. Amid Qian's screams, we left resolutely. Before we finished eating, my phone vibrated, pushing a local trending topic. Hashtag scumbag cheats during marriage. Original wife publicly bullied hashtag. In the video, Qian was in tears. We've been married for 3 years, and he hasn't even touched me. It turns out he's been having an affair all along, and he even brought her in front of me without getting a divorce. The comment section was filled with Ma Sheng scolding. No wonder the waiter who just served the dishes looked at me with daggers in her eyes. Lin Jiao glanced at her phone. I'll have the Lin Group's PR department handle it. I shook my head. I'll handle it myself. I asked my assistant to suppress the trending topic and walked out of the restaurant. Qian was actually waiting at the door. Compared to an hour ago, she was now disheveled, covered in blood stains, all accusing me of condoning the mistress to bully her. Gu Jingzhou, you actually suppressed the trending topic for her. You still dare to say you have nothing to do with her. Even if you cover my mouth, it won't change the fact that she's a mistress. In order to slander me, she, who always loved her beauty, was willing to ruin her image like this. I couldn't help but hate myself for being so blind. Not wanting to sully my eyes, I chose to leave. As we passed each other, she looked at me and Lin Jiao and sneered. Gu Jingzhou, you dare to cheat and betray me. I will make you pay the price. The next second, countless rotten vegetables and eggs smashed onto me and Lin Jiao. With a cry of pain, Lin Jiao's forehead was hit and started to bleed. I quickly protected her in my arms and quickly took her to the car. This action caused the suppressed, trending topic to explode again. We both became the scumbag and bitch that netizens cursed. After Lin Jiao had her wound treated at the hospital, I felt extremely guilty. I'm sorry, I dragged you into this. Lin Jiao shook her head, nonchalantly handing me her phone. Don't deal with those criticisms yet. Let the rumors fly for a while longer. These are the hotel records my people found. You can investigate them again. Also, an allergy to foreign proteins can't be cured by kissing unless you meet someone with a highly compatible gene. I looked at her. How did you know? She smiled slightly. The special medicine you asked someone to develop is produced by a company under my name. She left it at that and returned to Beijing alone. That night, my assistant sent me a message. President Gu, Lu Huayan's company's funds have been cut off, and he is seeking acquisition. I roughly guessed that Lin Jiao had made a move, so I didn't stand on ceremony. Lower the price by 30% and thoroughly investigate his and Chen Yuqian's whereabouts over the past year. Based on Lin Jiao's character, she wouldn't bother lying to me. But I masochistically wanted to see if Chen Yuqian had betrayed me. The assistant quickly sent the investigation results. Besides her and Lu Huayan's hotel records during our marriage, there was also an email correspondence between Lu Huayan and my competitor. The contents were actually my company's secrets. I sat alone all night and called my lawyer. Help me file for divorce and change the property division to where the woman leaves with nothing. Also, sue Lu Huayan for commercial espionage. After giving the instructions, I turned off my phone and went to sleep. I was finally woken up by thunderous pounding on the door. Gu Jingzhou, open the door. I know you're in there. Not wanting to disturb others, I opened the door. Chen Yuqian raised her hand and slapped me. Gu Jingzhou, you're actually going to sue Huayan? He's my best friend. Do you know how important he is to me? I covered my face and nodded. Important enough to betray the marriage. Important enough to trample on sincerity. Since you know, then drop the lawsuit for me. If you still want to go home, then send 10% of your shares to Huayan as compensation after dropping the lawsuit. Otherwise, I can completely ruin the reputation of your mistress. Also, don't even think about divorcing me to live happily with that bitch. I suffered through hardship with you, and I'm not going to let that bitch reap the rewards unless you leave with nothing. She took out a revised divorce agreement. Either you sign this again, or you break up with her. I can also take medicine more often and have a child with you. Something I had begged for 3 years, I finally got. But it was because she wanted to protect her beloved. I don't know if she knows that Lu Huayan is scheming against her, but that doesn't matter anymore. People always have to pay the price for their actions. I tore up the divorce agreement. She thought I agreed to compromise and left satisfied. 3 days later, the divorce case and the economic case were filed with the court at the same time. Chen Yuqian called me proactively, her tone full of anger. Didn't I tell you to drop the lawsuit? Why hasn't it been taken care of yet? I specially bought a maid outfit for you. You can indulge yourself. I coldly curled my lips, my tone without any fluctuation. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, the third courtroom of the West City People's Court, the divorce trial will begin. Don't forget to attend on time. Chen Yuqian screamed on the other end of the phone. Divorce trial? Gu Jingzhou, you really want to divorce me? Are you crazy? I don't agree to a divorce. I'm not going to make it easy for you to be with that bitch. Even if it means dragging it out, I'll drag her to death and make her be a mistress for the rest of her life. I hung up the phone. I sent all the evidence of her and Lu Huayan's affair to the lawyer. When I received confirmation that I would win, Chen Yuqian sent more than a dozen 60-second voice messages. I didn't listen to any of them and blocked her. She and Lu Huayan then began filming ambiguous videos. Countless intimate photos, almost like bed photos, were sent directly to my WeChat by Lu Huayan. He looked like a smug villain, gloating to me. President Gu, thank you for making it easy for us. Qian is very happy now. I still didn't reply. Chen Yuqian called again. Gu Jingzhou, are you even a man? You can tolerate this? If you don't make up for your mistakes, I'll make my relationship with Huayan real. She doesn't even know how many times she's slept with Lu Huayan, and she's still trying to fool me. We're getting a divorce. There's nothing I can't tolerate. Chen Yuqian was stunned for a moment and shouted at me uncontrollably. Have you ever treated me like your wife? I think you want to divorce me for that woman. She's my business partner. Even if I really marry her in the future, it will be after the divorce. I won't be as shameless as you. I don't like to explain, let alone complain about my own experiences. But Lin Jiao is innocent, and I don't want her to be implicated by me repeatedly. Chen Yuqian, hearing this, exploded even more violently. Partners? We've been married for 3 years, and I haven't seen you eating with any female partners? Do you think I'm a fool? To give her a complete sense of security, I did more than just not eat with female partners. I stayed away from all women entirely for 3 years. Compared to you kissing Lu Huayan for 10 minutes, isn't having a meal not illegal? She suddenly changed the subject. I know you're angry, but Huayan really is just my best friend. Yes, I know you two aren't allergic to each other. You're a match made in heaven. Gu Jingzhou, do you have to be so sarcastic? I'm stating a fact. She suddenly cried. Zhou, I know I was wrong. Can you withdraw the lawsuit? Don't make things difficult for Huayan. So, Lu Huayan received the court summons. She was making such a scene, refusing to divorce me, all for Lu Huayan. No, see you in court. Chen Yuqian completely tore off the pretense. Fine, since you're heartless, don't blame me for being unrighteous. That night, Lin Jiao was doxxed, and all sorts of insulting messages flooded in. Lin Jiao called me. President Gu, you two are a married couple after all. It's better to part peacefully. I can handle this myself. She didn't want me to become a laughingstock, a cuckold. No need, I'll take care of it. I contacted a lawyer and called the police. Chen Yuqian was educated and detained that night for defamation. It was Lu Huayan who put in a lot of effort to get her released on bail. My assistant informed me as I was heading to court. President Gu, after Miss Chan came out, she went straight to the company and gathered a bunch of reporters to make trouble in the lobby downstairs. I looked at the video my assistant sent and was a little surprised that Chen Yuqian would be so stupid. In the video, she was holding a sign that read, "Scumbag cheats, forces his wife out with nothing, personally sends his wife to jail." I gave her a chance, and since she didn't cherish it, she can't blame me. Have the Public Relations Department issue a statement and release all the evidence. Release the evidence of Lu Huayan stealing trade secrets too. An hour later, the public opinion began to reverse. The netizens who had previously insulted me and Lin Jiao instantly turned their anger around. So she cheated first, and she has the nerve to cry foul. So bitchy. Is this woman crazy? She doesn't love her president husband and helps her male best friend steal her husband's company secrets. Upstairs, don't slander the male best friend. He's probably her lover. The two were subjected to online violence. Even more angry people surrounded her in front of my company, pointing fingers and scolding her. This time, she didn't have to ruin her image herself. She was covered in dirt. She called Lu Huayan for help, but couldn't get through, so she had to beg me for help. Gu Jingzhou, have those statements withdrawn. Huayan and I are innocent. The videos are fake. Don't believe them. And Huayan didn't steal your company's secrets. It was me who accidentally let something slip. Even at this point, Her heart and eyes were still full of Lu Huayan. I kindly reminded her. The police already determined the truth when I reported it yesterday. I'm already at the court. Save your lies for the judge. My cold attitude made her cry out in despair. Gu Jingzhou, how can you bear to treat me like this? The next second, her scream was heard. I was watching the surveillance footage at the company entrance. Witnessing her being hit until her head was bleeding by an angry passerby, I felt not a single ripple of emotion. Chen Yuqian didn't appear at the court hearing. But that didn't stop me from getting the divorce decree. Stepping out of the courthouse, the sunlight was a little blinding, and I felt the first sense of relief in 3 years. Just as I was about to send her a picture of the decree, she called, her voice hoarse, as if she'd been crying for a long time. Zhou, I was beaten and ended up in a hospital. Can you come be with me? I'm so scared. It was wrong of me to slander you and Miss Lin. Let's make up. I want to eat the cake from that place in the west of the city. Buy it, and come pick me up at the hospital. She actually thought that a simple, let's make up, could erase everything. I couldn't help but laugh as I interrupted her. The divorce decree is already issued. From now on, you can find Lu Huayan if you need anything. Oh, I almost forgot. Lu Huayan has been detained for criminal charges because of conclusive evidence. So, this is the real reason Chen Yuqian is admitting her mistake and bowing her head to me. I didn't expose her, but a scream of disbelief came from the other end of the phone. What divorce decree? Who got divorced? How could we be divorced if I didn't go? Too lazy to explain, I hung up directly, removed her from my block list, took a picture, and sent her the decree. You have 3 days to move out of the marital home. Almost immediately, Chen Yuqian's calls flooded my phone, so I set it to silent mode. Even when I suspected that she and Lu Huayan were up to no good, I never thought of taking back the marital home. But she has challenged my bottom line again and again, treating me like an idiot. Seeing that I wasn't answering the phone, the dialog box kept showing typing. Finally, it fell silent. I thought she had accepted the result and would comply. But before I could go and take back the marital home, she took the initiative to find me. Zhou, I was wrong. Let's remarry. Impossible. She started using more intense methods to try and win me back. That day, she appeared downstairs at my company, holding flowers, the thick makeup on her face unable to hide her exhaustion. Zhou, I really know I was wrong. Let's remarry. I promise to only love you from now on. I walked past her, without a word or a pause. She chased after me and grabbed my sleeve, her voice filled with sobs. Please just consider our 3 years of marriage. Consideration? I stopped and looked at her coldly. When you and Lu Huayan were kissing for 10 minutes, when you helped him steal my company's secrets, when you were having affairs with him every few days, our consideration was already exhausted. Her face turned pale. Her hand fell limply. I opened the car door and drove away. In the rearview mirror, she sat slumped on the ground, her figure thin and helpless. If it were before, I would definitely feel sorry for her, but now, my heart is only a desolate wasteland of numbness. Seeing that I was so heartless, she started performing self-harm on her social media. First, she posted pictures with a caption, "Without you, I can't eat," showing an empty dining table. Later, it was a photo of a wrist with gauze soaked in blood, accompanied by the words, "Without you, what's the point of living?" The background was scattered medicine bottles and a blood-stained fruit knife. Her best friend sent her to the hospital for emergency treatment and then called me, her voice anxious. "Brother Zhou, please come and see Yuqian. She really knows she was wrong. She is so remorseful that she has depression. The doctor said that if it goes on like this, she will die." I replied calmly. She should have thought of this result when she betrayed our marriage. She was just confused for a moment. Then let me continue to be confused. If she is in mortal danger, please contact Lu Huayan or call the police directly. We are divorced, and I have no obligation or reason to care about whether she lives or dies. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone, ending only with a sigh. I entrusted all the business of the Rongqing company to a trustworthy professional manager and returned to Beijing completely. On the day I came home, my parents made a table full of dishes, asked nothing, and just kept heaping food onto my plate. The warmth of home dispelled the last trace of gloom. Soon after, my father mentioned the cooperation with the Lin family and the unfinished engagement. Ji Yao is waiting for you. If you can't bring her happiness, then don't delay her. My parents wanted me to be happy, and they also wanted Lin Ji Yao to be happy. I felt guilt and gratitude towards Lin Ji Yao. She didn't laugh at me in my most embarrassing moments, only offering silent support. Calm, rational, and strong. After returning to Beijing, we only met a few times, sometimes to discuss cooperation, sometimes just for a meal. But we got along like old friends, naturally and comfortably. But when it came to marriage, I decided to have a serious talk with her. Before I could speak, she guessed my intention. I won't rush you, and I won't force you. The wedding can be held any time you're ready. Out of a sense of responsibility, I suggested that we try dating first. Half a year later, our relationship stabilized, and we officially got engaged, and the wedding date was set. The news wasn't deliberately made public, but those who needed to know knew. During this time, I heard from a friend in Rongqing that Lu Huaiyan was out of prison. Penniless, he went back to Chen Yuqian. By then, Chen Yuqian's life was no longer as glamorous as it once was, as she had left the marriage with nothing and bore a bad reputation. Perhaps she still harbored illusions about Lu Huaiyan, or perhaps she just wanted to find someone to rely on, and the two of them became entangled again. But after only a couple of days, they had a violent argument, fighting in the street. In a video sent by my friend, Lu Huaiyan, whose company I had acquired, pointed his finger at her and cursed. "You crazy woman! If you weren't so useless, how would I have ended up like this? Without Gu Jingzhou, you're nothing. If you want to be with me, go beg Gu Jingzhou and have him give the company back to me. Didn't you say he's especially obsessed with your body? Just let him have his fill. If you serve him well, even a little bit that leaks through his fingers will be enough for us to live a life of luxury. If he really loves you, maybe we can be like before." He was implying that Shan Yuqian should come and beg me, preferably trick me into continuing to be their cash cow, so they could continue their affair behind my back. This sentence completely shattered Chen Yuqian's last hope. Or perhaps, having suffered enough, she finally saw Lu Huaiyan's true colors. She slapped him in the face and screamed hysterically. "So, you tricked me into giving you the documents, not because you wanted to learn, but because you really wanted to steal trade secrets. What do you take me for?" She kicked Lu Huaiyan out of the rented apartment and posted a long article on social media, accusing him of cheating her of money and affection, gaslighting her, and using her, every word stained with blood and tears. After doing all this, she somehow found out that I was getting married in Beijing and came looking for me again. She began to stalk me like I had pursued her back then, waiting every day outside my company, the restaurants I frequented, and even outside my residential compound. She learned to cook the food I liked and wrote a handwritten love letter every day to express her regret and longing for me. None of it ever reached my hands, because my assistant strictly enforced my orders and threw it all in the trash. One day, as I arrived at the company entrance, she disregarded the security guards and desperately rushed in front of me. "Ajo, give me one more chance, okay? I love you more than anyone. I just didn't understand it before. That Lin Jiao is not suitable for you. She doesn't understand you at all." I simply gave her a cold look and turned to enter the building, and ordered that security be strengthened. Her appearance was like a pebble thrown into a lake, creating only a slight ripple before quickly sinking to the bottom, no longer able to affect me in the slightest. Wedding preparations were proceeding in full swing. Lin Jiao and I both preferred a low-key and exquisite ceremony, inviting only our closest family and friends. On the day of the wedding dress fitting, she walked out of the dressing room, wearing a pure white satin gown, the cut elegant, accentuating her already aloof and outstanding temperament. "Yao Yao, you're so beautiful." My heart raced as I looked at her, and I couldn't help but kiss her. The shop assistants and other customers trying on wedding dresses all cast envious glances, their faces quietly reddening. Just then, a commotion erupted outside the shop. Gu Jingzhou, you can't kiss her. You're mine. Chen Yuqian's voice was sharp and piercing, penetrating the glass door. The shop assistants tried to stop her, but she still rushed in. She had lost a lot of weight, her face pale, her eyes sunken, and her once bright eyes were now bloodshot. She stared intently at me and Lin Jiao beside me. Did you fall in love with her before the divorce? Were you two already sleeping together? Otherwise, how could you actually marry this slut? Do you think everyone is as filthy as you? My sarcastic tone stung her. She pointed at Lin Jiao, convinced that we had been having an affair. Gu Jingzhou, I gave you 3 years of my youth. How can you treat me like this? You clearly said that you would only ever love me. Lin Jiao chuckled, looking at her with calm, unwavering eyes. Miss Chun, only those with dirty hearts think others are just as dirty. Besides, it was Gu Jingzhou who truly gave you 3 years of his youth. Ask yourself, what did you do? Shut up. Chen Yuqian suddenly rushed towards Lin Jiao, undisguised hatred in her eyes. It's all you. You seduced him. If it weren't for you, he would definitely forgive me. I stepped forward, shielding Lin Jiao behind me, and grabbed Chen Yuqian's wrist as she swung at her. Chen Yuqian, haven't you made enough of a scene? Do I need to remind you who betrayed the marriage first, who trampled our feelings underfoot? She looked up at me, tears instantly welling up in her eyes. Zhou, I don't care. I won't let you marry someone else. Aren't our 3 years together worth more than a business marriage? If I didn't marry you, my marriage to Yao Yao would indeed be a business arrangement, but I'm marrying her now because of love. She asked me in a daze. What do you mean? I spoke mercilessly, delivering her a fatal blow. The marriage agreement between me and the Lin family existed before I met you. Back then, I insisted on marrying you and insisted on breaking the agreement with Yao Yao. Now, I'm just returning to the original path. Chen Yuqian was struck as if by lightning, her face instantly turning pale. Why have you never told me? Would you have cherished our relationship if I had told you? I was wrong. Zhou, I was really wrong. I was just momentarily confused. Let's start over, okay? I don't mind that you were engaged to someone else. I do mind. I interrupted her, letting go of her hand as if touching something dirty. I raised my hand, and the security guards who had arrived together held Chen Yuqian up and dragged her out the door. Gu Jingzhou, you can't treat me like this. You love me. You said you would always love me. I looked into her eyes and said, word by word, that promise expired when you betrayed me. The shop door closed, cutting off her desperate cries. Lin Jiao gently touched my arm. Are you okay? I shook my head, took a deep breath, and suppressed the irritation in my heart. I'm sorry, you had to go through this kind of upsetting thing again. Why are you being so polite with me? But seeing her like this, it's kind of pitiful. Pitiful? Perhaps. But she chose her own path, and she can only bear the consequences herself. After this incident, Chen Yuqian seemed to finally realize the fact that I would never turn back, and she never appeared again. Soon after, her parents learned of my identity as a young master from a prominent family in the capital and wanted her to win me back. But she went crazy and exposed all her past online. The Chun family lost all face because of this and had to endure the insults of netizens. The power of cyberbullying was endless. The Chun family members' jobs were severely affected, and they didn't even dare to go out to buy groceries. In a fit of anger, they kicked her out of the house. To make matters worse, she discovered that she was pregnant. Clutching at the last straw, she went to Lu Huayan, hoping that he would consider the child and live a good life with her. But Lu Huayan scoffed. Who knows if it's even mine? Even if it is, why should I acknowledge a bastard born to a useless woman? To completely get rid of her, Lu Huayan heartlessly forced her to drink an abortion drug, causing her to bleed heavily, and both her body and mind were severely traumatized. The night before the wedding, I received a call from an unknown number. When I answered, there was a long silence on the other end, only suppressed breathing. I knew it was her. Just as I was about to hang up, her voice, heavy with a nasal tone, came, as light as a sigh. Wish you happiness. This time, there was no hysteria, no resentment, only endless exhaustion and resignation. I still didn't say a word, and she hung up the phone in tacit understanding. Outside the window, the night view of the capital city was dazzling. Tomorrow will be the start of a new life.